You cheated with some foreign guy, didn't you? You're trash.
Ryan and Emily looked at our child with disdain, as if they were staring at something filthy. Trying to steady myself, I forced out a reply. No, I didn't. This is your baby, Ryan. But there was no room for him to believe me.
This baby was conceived on the honeymoon, wasn't it? You must have hooked up with some foreign in Spain.
No matter how much I denied it, it didn't matter. The more I protested, the angrier Ryan and Emily became.
You're getting so defensive. It's suspicious. Do you really think you can get away with saying you didn't cheat after giving birth to a blonde baby?
You're such a foolish woman. Cheating so obviously like this. We'll prove it with a DNA test.
What I can't forgive is not that I was misunderstood, but the look of disdain they directed at my child. Who's really suspicious here? Who's the one covered in lies? I'll rip off that false mask. I'm Jessica, 25 years old. At a restaurant with an amazing view of the city from the upper floors, my boyfriend, Ryan, proposed to me.
I promise I'll make you happy, Jessica. Let's get married.
With the romantic setting and him offering me a ring, my answer was, of course, yes. And just like that, I got engaged to Ryan, whom I had been dating for a year. Ryan always puts me first, doing everything he can to make me happy. Proposing at a restaurant with a breathtaking view. This was the perfect example of his thoughtfulness. We placed our left hands, with the rings shining, together and took a photo to commemorate the proposal. We quickly greeted both families and started preparing for the wedding. Ryan picked out several venues, making the venue selection process go smoothly. However, we hit a snag when it came to choosing the outfits.
Jessica, you should wear the white dress.
At first, we both liked the pure white wedding dress and a silver tuxedo. But when it came to our second outfits, Ryan wouldn't budge.
Look, I have strong features, right? That's why a flashy wine red tuxedo would look amazing on me. So, Jessica, you should wear the white dress to match.
On top of that, he suggested a very simple dress with minimal decoration. It was beautiful, but I wanted to wear a colorful dress too. We couldn't come to an agreement, so we postponed the decision for the next appointment. But the next time, for some reason, Ryan's mom, Emily, tagged along.
Oh my gosh, Ryan looks so good in a wine red tuxedo. Not everyone can pull off such a bold color, but Ryan totally can. He looks like a celebrity, or maybe a prince. He's so handsome, my gorgeous son.
Emily excitedly showered Ryan with compliments. She kept taking pictures of him with her phone, and it felt less like picking outfits and more like a photo shoot for an idol. Ryan, in turn, struck poses and changed angles, fully playing the role of the star. Our wedding planner smiled politely while watching them, but I could see the slight strain in her expression. Well, Ryan is undeniably good-looking. I could understand why Emily was getting carried away. With his big, gentle eyes and soft features, he had a charming and sweet appearance. But his deep-set eyes and sharp nose gave him a bit of a cool edge as well. When we had first introduced ourselves to his parents, Emily proudly called him her perfect son. Despite his dad, John, trying to stop her, Emily pulled out a photo album and shared countless stories about Ryan. At the time, I thought she was just trying to ease my nerves, but it became clear she genuinely adored her son. The wedding planner suggested that a dress in a color other than white could also go well with Ryan's wine red tuxedo, trying to help me out. But Ryan quickly shot back.
Yeah, but if Jessica wears a colorful dress, all the attention will go to her, right? It's supposed to be about both of us, not just the bride.
Then Emily gave me a sharp glare. Her piercing look made me freeze in place.
Jessica, Unlike Ryan, your features are more simple. A simple dress would suit you better, don't you think?
So, I had no choice but to give in. As Ryan said, the bride and groom are the stars of the day. He must have really loved that wine red tuxedo. Since this is his once-in-a-lifetime wedding, I didn't want him to have any regrets. On the day of the wedding, every time the photographer or guests pointed a camera at Ryan, he would tilt his chin down and show off the left side of his face. When I looked at the photos sent by friends right after the ceremony, I couldn't help but laugh. He was striking a pose in every single shot. I had known Ryan was a bit of a narcissist since we started dating, but today, the day he got to be the star, he was going all out. The wedding went off without a hitch, and the very next day, we set off for our honeymoon. The destination? The dream country of Spain. It was the first time abroad for both of us. Blue sea, blue sky, shining sun. It should have been an exciting, extraordinary honeymoon, but…
Wanna hit the beach?
What? You're going in the water? Despite our much-anticipated trip to Spain, it had been raining almost the entire time. Even now, all I could see from the hotel window was a gloomy sky, not the clear blue one I had imagined.
Well, we have to go, rain or not. We're leaving tomorrow, right? It'd be crazy to come all the way to Spain and not swim in the sea.
I understood Ryan's point, but the sun was hidden behind rain clouds, the wind was blowing, and it was a bit chilly. Yeah, but it's kinda cold, isn't it? How about we go shopping instead? And for lunch, let's try something huge, like a big slab of meat. It'd totally look great on social media, so Spanish. I tried to cheer him up with some fun suggestions, but Ryan snapped back in frustration.
We've already posted the meat, and the pancakes, and the views. Spain is all about the beach, Jess. We can edit the sky to make it sunny if we have to. This is our last chance. We're definitely going to the sea.
Ryan pulled me by the hand, dragging me toward the beach. Even though Spain is known for its warm weather year-round, cold days are still cold. When I stepped into the water in my bikini, goosebumps instantly covered my entire body.
Jessica, look this way. I'm taking the shot. Great, one more. Wait a sec. The wind messed up my bangs. Oh my God, our lips look so blue. Well, whatever. I'll edit it later anyway.
On the empty beach, we took photos in the rain, pretending to have fun. I secretly started feeling annoyed at how obsessed Ryan was with getting these perfect Spain shots. Ryan loves social media and is always chasing the perfect post. I use social media too, but he's way more into it. Ryan plans stylish dates and gives me gifts even on non-special occasions. Of course, it's partly to make me happy, but he posts everything on social media. I never really minded that before, but I just can't understand why he insisted on taking pictures at the beach, even in the freezing cold.
Well, we got some decent shots. Don't post them yet. I'll edit yours first. It's not social media worthy as is.
Ryan smiled with his purple lips, still trying to enjoy himself. With this, we had covered all the Instagram-worthy spots and food in Spain. Ryan. I can't. I feel awful. On the day we were supposed to fly home, I had caught a full-blown cold. Just as I felt relieved to finally reach the airport, Ryan, without missing a beat, aimed his camera at me.
Come on, don't make such a tired face. Smile. I'm taking a picture.
Even though I told him I was feeling terrible, Ryan insisted on getting a picture to mark our return. He needed it for his social media post about coming back home.
Wait, are you faking it?
What? Ryan mumbled as he edited the photo on his phone, not even looking at me.
You were really against going into the water. Now you're acting sick for sympathy, right?
Still glued to his phone, he continued in a slightly irritated tone.
That kind of stuff is annoying, Getting all grumpy on our honeymoon. It's selfish.
Hearing him say that after seeing me with a fever and no appetite made my head spin even more. The word divorce vaguely crossed my mind. But at that moment, all I wanted was to go home and rest, so we returned to our new home together. After the wedding and honeymoon, the whirlwind of special events came to an end, and it was time to return to reality. Ryan and I were supposed to go back to our usual routine, working from morning till night on weekdays and relaxing together on weekends. That's what I imagined, but things didn't go as smoothly. Sorry. I'm feeling exhausted. Can I sleep a little longer? At 5 a.m. on Saturday, Ryan shook my shoulder. Even though he always oversleeps on weekdays, he's strangely eager and wakes up early on weekends when we have plans.
What? We promised to go to New Jersey for some pudding and a beach walk, remember? If we're late, we'll have to wait in line forever. So hurry up and get up.
Please, just let me rest. Ryan yanked the blanket off of me.
Oh, I get it. You don't like the beach, right? You made a fuss in Spain about catching a cold from the sea. And now you don't want to go to the beach in New Jersey either? We're not even swimming. It's just the sand. Or do you hate that too? Funny how you suddenly don't feel well after working all week.
No matter how much I told him I wasn't feeling well, that's how he responded.
Fine, fine. You just don't want to go out with me, right? I'll go by myself then. Whatever.
Without a single kind word to me, Ryan stormed out of the house. Later, he posted photos on his social media, making it look like we were on a date together. Jessica's favorite pudding. So happy to try this seasonal one.
Yeah.
He really acts like the perfect husband online. While I was lying in a dark room with no appetite, feeling completely drained. Then I realized something. I hadn't gotten my period this month. Could it be? I checked right away, and sure enough, I was pregnant. Judging by the timing, it must be a honeymoon baby. I told Ryan about the pregnancy when he came back from New Jersey, still in a bad mood. In an instant, his frustration disappeared.
No way. Seriously. We're having a baby. This is amazing.
We held hands, celebrating together. Since then, he's toned down his pushy outings. Ryan started accompanying me to prenatal checkups and eagerly attended parenting classes, learning more about childbirth and child rearing. He even researched and bought things like decaf coffee for me, in addition to baby gear. He's always been kind and has done things to make me happy. I'm sure we'll build a family where we both cherish each other. And then, the day of the birth arrived. After 12 hours of labor, our baby finally let out their first cry. All the pain I had endured melted away, and happiness filled the room.
Oh my gosh, an angel. Isn't our baby just too cute? 100% looks like Ryan. I'm so relieved.
Emily, who came to visit after the birth, squinted her already narrow eyes as she held the baby. But something seemed off with Ryan, who had been so excited about the baby's arrival.
Look at those long eyelashes. 100% looks like Ryan.
Every time Emily visited, she kept saying the baby looked exactly like Ryan. And every time, Ryan's expression darkened. Even though he'd been so enthusiastic about being a great dad, maybe he was overwhelmed now that the baby was actually here.
Hey Ryan, look at this. Our baby's skin is so fair and beautiful, just like you. 100% looks like you.
At that moment, Ryan clenched his fists tightly.
What? Like me?
Yeah, such a cute little angel, just like you.
No, what are you talking about? Can't you see it, Mom?
Ryan roughly ran his hands through his hair and glared at the baby.
This kid doesn't have black hair? Isn't that weird?
What? Oh, you're right.
Emily, who had been lost in her excitement over her grandchild, suddenly went cold. She handed the baby to me, almost tossing them, and her expression shifted from joy to disgust.
The baby's hair, it looks blonde. It's not just because the hair is thin, right?
Emily glanced back and forth between Ryan and me, her face gradually twisting into a grimace. She was clearly comparing our hair. Both Ryan and I have straight, jet black hair.
This is horrible. Why does this baby have blonde hair? Both of you have black hair.
She looked at our child as if they were something filthy. Ryan's reaction was no different.
You cheated with some guy in Spain, didn't you? You're trash.
His accusation hit me like a blow to the head, leaving me dizzy. Trying to steady myself, I forced out a reply. No. I didn't. This is your baby, Ryan. But there was no room for him to believe me. The sight of our blonde-haired baby had unleashed all his pent-up doubts about me.
This baby was conceived on the honeymoon, wasn't it? You must have hooked up with some random guy in Spain.
Emily's face twisted with pure disgust. She must have vividly imagined the affair in her mind.
I can't believe it. You did that while you were on your honeymoon? Oh, how filthy. You let me hold the child you made with some random man? Disgusting.
No matter how much I denied it, it didn't matter. The more I protested, the angrier Ryan and Emily became.
You're getting so defensive. It's suspicious. Do you really think you can get away with saying you didn't cheat after giving birth to a blonde baby?
You're such a foolish woman. Cheating like this, so carelessly. We'll prove it with a DNA test.
They kept hurling insults at me, filled with harsh words, until the nurses noticed and stepped in to stop them. As Ryan was being asked to leave, he spat out one final threat.
Just you wait, you worthless woman.
Even though I had never betrayed him, his threat made me catch my breath. What should I do? Why is this happening? I'm scared. My body trembled. At that moment, I suddenly remembered I was holding our baby in my arms. My little baby looked up at me with a dazed expression. So helpless, a life I must protect. It's okay. Neither you nor I did anything wrong. That's right. Ryan and Emily not only accused me but also hurt our child by claiming they weren't his. What hurts me more than being misunderstood is the disdain they directed at my innocent baby. This isn't the time to be scared and crying. Determined to protect my child, I resolved to stand up for us. As planned, I was discharged from the hospital with my baby. I didn't choose any of the names Ryan had suggested, naming him Chris instead. I'm staying at my parents' house now. I hadn't planned on moving back, but with Ryan's rejection, I couldn't return to our home. Throughout my hospital stay and after being discharged, Ryan and Emily never came to see Chris. They completely ignored us. But that silence ends today. I sent Ryan a message, telling him the test results had arrived. I knew he would rush over. Sure enough, Ryan and Emily showed up at my parents' house together. My parents, sensing what was about to happen, took Chris outside for a walk. Now, no matter how much of a scene they make, it won't be a problem. Here. I led them into the living room and, without offering any drinks, handed over an envelope right away. Ryan snatched it from my hand. He tore open the still-sealed envelope roughly. Ryan and Emily wore smug, nasty grins, confident that my wrongdoing was about to be scientifically exposed. I remained perfectly still, sitting across the table from them. They pulled out the document they had been waiting for and leaned in together to read it.
What?
The grin vanished from Ryan's face, replaced by confusion.
What's going on?
He started flipping the paper upside down and squinting at it, as if that would change the result. No matter how much he tried, the test results wouldn't change, but it seemed like Ryan couldn't accept it.
Wait, what? The baby's mine?
I didn't even need to look at the results to know. Chris was undoubtedly Ryan's child. I had never cheated on him, and I swore that on everything I believed in. This proves my innocence. Our baby is truly yours and mine. Even with the scientific evidence in front of him, Ryan raised his voice, still in denial.
That's a lie. Then why does the baby have blonde hair? Both of us have black hair. It doesn't make sense. Oh, I get it. You did cheat with some dude in Spain, didn't you? That's why the baby looks like that.
Ryan was desperately trying to overturn the scientific proof with a wild theory. Emily jumped on board.
Oh, that's it. You must have slept with a Spanish man around the same time as Ryan, so the baby ended up looking like that. You're such a wicked woman. Married to my perfect Ryan, and you couldn't resist fooling around with some stranger too? For someone with such an average face, you've got some nerve.
I had hoped the test results would silence them, but their delusions were worse than I expected. So, I decided to play my other card. Here, take this too. I handed them another envelope, just like the first one. Ryan snatched the envelope again and tore it open aggressively. He glanced at the paper inside with a look of annoyance. He gave a cold laugh. But then his eyes widened as he stared intently at the paper again.
We're not related?
I hadn't seen the test results of that one yet, but it seemed the DNA test indicated that the ones tested were not related. Emily snatched the paper from Ryan's pale hands.
See, I knew it. The child isn't his. You tried to pass off a one-night stand with some Spanish guy as Ryan's kid. You filthy woman, cheater, slut. You'll sleep with any man, won't you? Disgusting.
Emily seemed to almost enjoy throwing insults at me. But Ryan grabbed her arm and shook his head slowly. Without saying a word, he pointed at the names on the test results.
What? This is the DNA test for you and the blonde child, right? Wait. No, that can't be.
They both leaned in and stared at the results, disbelief spreading across their faces as they kept checking it over and over. But no matter how many times they looked, the results wouldn't change. Now, do you see who's been lying? When I asked, Ryan and Emily both looked up at me. Emily's hand, clutching the paper, trembled violently. Ryan, still pale, took a small step away from her. This is the DNA test between Ryan and John. It turns out that Ryan and John aren't biologically related. I spoke softly, delivering the truth. Even though Ryan and Emily's eyes were still locked on each other, a thick, invisible wall seemed to have risen between them.
No, that's not true.
This is a joke, right?
Emily reached out toward Ryan, but he pulled away. Emily, you kept saying my baby looked exactly like Ryan. Honestly, I thought so too. Our baby inherited all the best parts of Ryan and is absolutely adorable. I was a little sad that our child didn't resemble me much, but I was happy that he was so cute. Except for the hair color, nothing was out of the ordinary. Our baby clearly looks like his father, Ryan. You, too, agreed 100% that the baby looked like him. But then, you immediately accused me of cheating just because of the hair. That's pretty insulting. Emily, deflated, opened her mouth but couldn't speak. I continued without hesitation. But more importantly, don't you find something strange here? Who exactly does Ryan, with his handsome, almost ethereal features, take after? He doesn't resemble you, Emily, or John, does he? Emily took a deep breath and swallowed hard, her throat tightening. Tears welled up in the corners of her sharp, upturned eyes. Her sharp, fox-like gaze pleaded with me to stay silent. But I couldn't stop now. We had already gone through DNA testing. There was no turning back. Emily, weren't you the one who cheated? Ryan isn't John's child, is he? Cornered, with no excuses left, Emily clenched her jaw in frustration. Being exposed by her daughter-in-law and facing Ryan's disdain must have been unbearable for her. Her nostrils flared as she shouted.
Yes, okay. So what? I did have a fling with a handsome young man, but that was decades ago. It's been long enough, hasn't it? I'd forgotten all about it. Why are you bringing it up now? You're such a rotten woman.
Emily, now completely resigned, grabbed Ryan's face between her hands.
Ryan, you are so handsome. My treasure. When you were born, you were so good looking. I was worried John would realize I had cheated. But in the end, he didn't. And look at you. You're gorgeous. So what's the problem?
Emily's shameless attitude was infuriating. She shrugged her shoulders and gave me a smug smile. I didn't care, but clearly, someone else might have a problem with this. Behind them, a door slowly creaked open. Sensing the presence, Emily and Ryan turned around.
What?
Emily jumped in shock. Standing there was John. He had heard everything, as he had been waiting in the next room. I had invited him beforehand. I looked back and forth, between John and Ryan, both with their shoulders slumped in sadness, and couldn't find a single thing they had in common. In contrast to Ryan's sharp, well-defined features, John has small, round, and cute eyes like little black dots. He has a square face with a prominent jaw and a small mouth. For that matter, Emily's narrow, sharp eyes didn't resemble Ryan's at all either. It was clear that Ryan's good looks didn't come from either of them.
John, it's not like that. Sure, I cheated, but it was decades ago. It can't matter anymore. It was just a fling with some guy for one night. I don't even know his name. It was a mistake, just a moment of weakness. You're the one I've always truly loved, John.
John is a kind man. Maybe he could have forgiven a one-time mistake, but Emily must have known from the moment Ryan was born that he wasn't John's child. Deceiving him for 25 years was unforgivable. Facing the cold stares of both John and Ryan, Emily grew frustrated and yelled out.
What is this? Are you all saying I'm the bad one here? No. We're here because Jessica's child is blonde, and it's obvious the baby is some foreigner's. Wait, maybe that DNA test is fake. It doesn't make sense for a blonde baby to be Ryan's.
No matter how much she screamed, it was pathetic. I quietly but clearly stated, if Ryan has a different father, then it's not strange at all for his child to have blonde hair. It's not uncommon for traits to skip a generation. Was your fling with a blonde somebody, Emily? Faced with this truth, Emily bit her lip. John has a square face with a prominent jaw and a small mouth. Emily, cornered with no way out, glared at me with resentment. Her brow furrowed, and her narrow eyes became even sharper. Gradually, tears began to flow from her eyes, not from regret or remorse over her past mistakes, but purely from the hatred she felt toward me. She had come here intending to accuse me of cheating, only to find herself exposed instead.
So what? Shouldn't I get some credit? Ryan turned out so handsome because of me. Wasn't he showered with attention since he was a kid? Girls were drawn to him, right? He didn't even have to try to be popular. That's all thanks to me for giving him those good looks.
Emily had deceived John for 25 years, making him raise another man's child. It seemed she didn't possess the conscience of an ordinary person. She now demanded gratitude from Ryan for her questionable actions.
Well, I guess.
For some reason, Ryan nodded at her words. Being a bit of a narcissist and proud of his looks, he couldn't deny it, even in this situation.
Well, I guess there were some misunderstandings, but it turns out the blonde kid is mine after all. The kid is super cute and looks like me, so everything worked out in the end.
With that, the matter was settled. Emily traced her fingers along Ryan's handsome cheek as he smiled gently. But I wasn't about to let them enjoy their sweet moment as mother and son. Wait, what do you mean everything worked out? It seemed like the two of them had reconciled in their own twisted way, but I wasn't nearly satisfied. Even though the baby obviously looks just like you accused me of cheating just because he has blonde hair.
Well, it's weird for two parents with black hair to have a blonde baby, so we misunderstood. That can't be helped.
What infuriated me wasn't the misunderstanding itself, but how they had completely dismissed both me and Chris, throwing baseless insults at us.
Stop being so persistent. Your baby was born handsome too, so just drop it already, right? John, aren't you proud to have such a handsome son and grandson?
Even Emily was saying things that made no sense. She must have thought she could sway John, who was generally easygoing and kind-hearted. Emily sidled up to him, trying to appeal to him as he stood there, looking utterly heartbroken. Even as she clung to his arm, John didn't move an inch. The decision to test Ryan and Chris's DNA, along with Ryan and John's, had actually been mine. On the night when Ryan and Emily accused me, John came to visit me after work, as he often did, unaware of what had happened. He immediately noticed something was wrong with me. Though I felt guilty, I explained the situation to him and suggested the DNA test. John seemed to have his own suspicions and agreed without hesitation. At the time, he had said,
"Even if Ryan isn't biologically related to me, it doesn't change the fact that we're family. That's why I never felt the need to investigate or confront Emily. But I can't stand by if they're going to blame you or Chris. Let's get to the truth."
Emily had taken advantage of John's kindness for years, and now she was trying to deceive him again with her flirtatious behavior. She looked up at him with big eyes, running her hand seductively over his arm. John finally let out a breath.
"Step away from me. You disgust me."
What?
Emily froze at his harsh words. As if brushing off something dirty, John shook her hand off. The usual kindness on John's face was gone as Emily peered at him.
"Before you keep making excuses and saying things that don't make sense, isn't there something you should say first?"
John's voice was calm but cold as he questioned her, but Emily's eyes darted around nervously.
What? Are you mad? But the affair was decades ago, and getting mad over something so long ago is...
Emily, still undeterred, reached for John's hand again, but he rejected her without mercy.
"Yes, I'm mad. About Ryan and about how you hurt our family. It seems you can't even manage a simple apology."
But it was so long ago, and the thing with the blonde baby was just a misunderstanding.
Even after all this, Emily showed no sign of remorse, and John gave up on her. He turned away, refusing to engage with her anymore, and began to apologize to me instead. Seeing that even John had had enough, Emily grew flustered. When John wasn't an option anymore, she tried to cozy up to Ryan. However, Ryan's sense of justice seemed to kick in, and he directed his anger toward me.
So you roped my dad into this, right? What a dirty move. You did all of this just to get back at us for doubting you? You're such a terrible woman, making my mom look like the bad guy.
Like Emily, Ryan seemed incapable of apologizing. And what about me and the baby, who were falsely accused? Don't you think you owe me an apology? I asked him gently, much like John had done. But if Ryan were the type to easily apologize, we wouldn't be in this mess.
Oh, come on. You want me to apologize? You were in a situation that made it easy to suspect you, so it can't be helped. Besides, it's not about what's true or false. It's about what people think that matters, right?
Ryan said this as if it were the most amusing thing in the world.
Everyone's saying it's Jessica's fault for cheating.
Ryan said, shaking his phone in my direction. I immediately knew what he meant by everyone. He must have posted about the blonde baby on social media. As a result, I was now being attacked by his followers, even though he had made sure I couldn't see the post. It didn't stop plenty of people to come to my account to leave their nasty comments.
It's blown up quite a bit, so correcting it now would be a hassle. But if you ask nicely, I can help calm things down.
Not only did he refuse to apologize, but he also tried to manipulate me into submission. I was utterly disgusted by Ryan's attempt to turn the tables.
Look, my notifications won't stop. This is the most engagement I've ever had. Everyone's saying how awful it is that a wife would cheat on a good-looking guy like me.
Ryan, full of self-admiration, seemed to get a thrill every time his phone vibrated with a new notification.
Wow, the notifications just keep coming in. I might have gone viral.
He grinned as he opened his phone. But that smile quickly faded.
What is this?
He stared at the messages flooding his social media, and the sparkle in his eyes disappeared. That's when I raised my voice. Oh no. I totally forgot to turn off the live stream.
What?
Ryan's lips trembled as I showed him my phone, which had been sitting on the table. The screen clearly displayed an active live stream with about 10 friends watching. Oh dear, maybe it's from being so tired from taking care of the baby. I accidentally left it on after showing everyone the baby earlier. I smiled sheepishly, waved at the screen, and ended the stream. So, everything you and Emily just said has been streaming live this whole time. Sorry, I didn't notice. Ryan's phone slipped from his hand, the weight of the situation crashing down on him. His phone continued buzzing with notifications, uninterrupted. Don't worry, it was a private stream, limited to just friends, only about 10 people could see it. Oh, but some of our mutual friends might have watched it. They got to see the real Ryan, handsome and kind, but with a hidden side. Even though it was a private stream, I knew that once something was shared, it could spread quickly. In fact, despite the baseless accusations against me, thanks to Ryan's posts, I had been attacked by mutual friends, and even strangers, all accusing me of things I never did. Now, my phone was flooded with apology messages, like, sorry for believing the lies and attacking you. Meanwhile, Ryan's phone was probably getting far more hate than I ever did.
What? No, that's not how it is. Everyone thinks I'm this great, kind, caring, handsome husband. They all admire me.
In a panic, Ryan rushed to post an explanation on social media.
It's a lie. Jessica tricked me. It was a prank.
He kept posting frantically, but the damage was done. His behavior on the live stream was too ugly to undo.
No, that's not true. I'm not the bad guy here. Why is this happening? My image. It's ruined.
In desperation, he turned to me for help.
Please, just say it was a prank. I was wrong to accuse you of cheating. I'm sorry, okay?
Now that he was losing his shiny reputation, he finally managed to apologize. But it was too late. I'm really sorry for forgetting to turn off the live stream. But this wasn't a prank. You insulted me, refused to admit you were wrong. That's the real you, Ryan. Just accept it.
Jessica, no.
Ryan's tear-streaked face, once so composed and handsome, was now a mess as he begged. John, tired of the scene, pulled him away and tried to take him home. John grabbed Emily's arm as well, and for some reason, her face softened, misinterpreting his action.
John, you're right. Let's just leave this woman behind and go home together. As long as I have you, the person who matters most to me, everything will be fine.
What? Stop saying such disgusting things. I'm taking you home for now because staying here would just bother Jessica. But I can't continue being married to you anymore.
What?
With Ryan and Emily both deflated, John supported them as they left my house. Their nightmare had only just begun. Ryan's image never recovered after that. On social media, strangers and former friends alike tore him apart, and in real life, people started distancing themselves. Even so, he kept posting on social media, which was his last source of comfort.
I'm so tired. I just want to disappear, his posts would say, clearly fishing for sympathy.
But despite his pleas for attention, he didn't get a single comment or like. He was a typical attention seeker, but he didn't even get a single comment or like. As for me and Ryan, our relationship was beyond repair, and we ended up getting divorced. Ryan documented every step of our divorce on social media, but no one bothered to comment, which was honestly pretty sad. For someone like him, being ignored probably hurt more than being caught up in a scandal. I also received word from John that he had divorced Emily, and I felt relieved that he, too, was able to move on. But for some reason, Emily decided to call me as well.
So, Jessica, are you all alone now after divorcing Ryan? Living such a lonely life?
Her words, meant to provoke me from the start, were exhausting. I thought the call was just to gloat, but it turned out she had something to brag about.
Honestly, divorcing John didn't bother me one bit. You see, I've been in love with a young man who lives in Italy. I don't know why, but handsome foreign men are always drawn to me. Who needs a quiet retirement when I'm living an exciting second life?
Apparently, this man was coming to the US soon to marry her. She said she'd been paying his mother's hospital bills and covering his travel expenses, all out of love. In return, he was supposedly head over heels for her. Isn't that a scam? I blurted out before I could stop myself, and Emily exploded with rage.
Don't be ridiculous. You're just jealous because I'm still so desirable.
She hung up after that, and I have no idea what happened next. She's probably spending all the money she got from her divorce settlement. While it's not enough to make the news, I'm sure she'll be drained dry in the end. Meanwhile, I'm living peacefully at my parents' house with Chris. Oh my God, another diaper leak. Why does it always happen right after I finish doing the laundry? Well, maybe not so peacefully, things are a bit chaotic. I'm struggling with first-time motherhood. I've developed tendinitis from carrying him so much, I'm constantly sleep-deprived, my hair is falling out, and I have stray hairs sticking up all over my head. Life isn't as glamorous as it was before I gave birth. But I cherish every moment I spend with Chris. He's so incredibly adorable that sometimes I want to share photos of him on social media every day for everyone to see. But I'm keeping my use of social media in check. I'll keep this cuteness all to myself. I love you so much, Chris. As I hugged him tightly, Chris smiled in my arms.